A bit of background. I, 45 female, am a single mum of 2 kids, Ella, 18 female, and Jake, teen male. My husband died when the kids were young, and I've worked extremely hard to support them both emotionally and financially. My husband left behind a life insurance policy, and I've saved part of that money for their college education. Since she was a little girl, Ella has always dreamed of going to a prestigious college. We've had many talks about how important education is, and I made sure she knew that the fund I was building for her and Jake was specifically for their education. I couldn't afford luxuries like vacations or new cars, but I wanted to ensure they wouldn't be burdened with student loans. Recently, though, things have become strained with Ella. She started dating a guy, Matt, 19 male, a few months ago, and I feel like her personality has completely changed. She's become distant, rude, and dismissive of anything I say. She said hurtful things like I smother her or treat her like a child. I've tried giving her space, but last week during a particularly bad argument she said she was going no contact with me once she went to college and would never look back. I was devastated. After everything I sacrificed, to hear that she cut me out was heartbreaking. I didn't want to react out of emotion, so I waited a few days to cool off, but eventually I decided that if she truly wanted nothing to do with me, then I wasn't going to fund her education. I told her that if she was planning to go no contact with me after college, she should consider her fund off the table, and I split it between Jake and myself for other things. She exploded, calling me vindictive, manipulative, and selfish. She thinks I'm trying to control her by dangling the money over her head. I've talked to a few friends about this, and reactions have been mixed. Some say I'm within my rights because the money is mine and I can do with it what I see fit. Others say I'm punishing her for her feelings and that I'm being controlling by using the money as leverage. So, am I the idiot for taking back my daughter's college fund after she said she was going no contact with me? She's going no contact after college, so you're supposed to put up with her disrespectful behavior for at least 4 years? No, if she wants to be free of that, it means free of your money and support. Not the idiot. People who are no longer family members do not get benefits such as money from the family. Her choice. Shrug. Actions have consequences, and if she chooses to remove herself from the family, in turn, is not obligated to keep throwing money at her. She's biting the hand that feeds her. I don't think she thought this all the way through. You guys are ignoring the fact that it sounds like she's in an abusive relationship. She suddenly changed and wants to cut off her family. You don't just decide these things on a whim. I had a friend who went through something similar, and her, now ex thankfully, boyfriend didn't start the physical abuse until after he'd convinced her that her family was out to get her. She only got out because he didn't cut all her friends off before the physical abuse, so she felt like she still had an out, even though she was too ashamed to go back to her parents at first. Exactly. Especially if there's a chance the boyfriend has something to do with this. Does the daughter expect the OP to just hand her a lump sum of tens of thousands of dollars on the good faith that she's actually going to spend it on college instead of letting her boyfriend steal it? The bottom line is that you are not the idiot for not giving her the money now if she says she's going no contact. However, it sounds like it's her money on some level from her father. You have the right to continue being a custodian of that money instead of handing it off to an 18-year-old and praying she doesn't spend it irresponsibly. But immediately spending it on yourself is kind of an idiot move in my opinion. Keep it aside for her and let her figure her crap out, then be the parent she can come back to for support. That's my 2 cents at least. I'm a single mom to a pre-tween girl, Olivia. My best friend Jenna and her husband Matteo babysit Olivia 3 to 5 days and nights a week. I'm a night shift nurse. Matteo is a very attractive firefighter who rides a motorcycle and doesn't mind getting his nails painted. He got Olivia an electric bike, scooter, so they can ride their motorcycles together. It goes a max of 10 miles per hour. His co-worker had a kid a little older than Olivia, so he constantly brings home pretty clothes and toys and princess dresses that she grew out of. Olivia is in love with her Uncle Matteo and is convinced that when she's grown up, she will marry Uncle Matteo. Jenna and Matteo know about Olivia's crush. She tells Matteo that she will marry him every time she paints his nails. She runs past Jenna to hug Matteo every time I drop her off. Jenna had an event last weekend, so Olivia spent a few hours alone with Matteo. He decided to take her on a little date, so she put on a pretty dress, he wore a nice shirt and tie, he bought her flowers and a balloon, and they got pizza and ice cream. Olivia has been talking about this date non-stop since then. Another one of my friends was over and Olivia wanted to tell her about her date with Uncle Matteo, and he got her flowers and a heart balloon and ice cream and that she's going to marry him when she's grown up. I sent Olivia to go get her new Moana dress to show her auntie, and while she was gone, my friend told me that it was extremely inappropriate to let Olivia have a crush on a grown man and to let him take her on a date when he knows she has a crush on him. I told her it was a harmless crush. She'll understand that she can't marry him in a few years, and he's the only man in her life, so it's just like a daddy-daughter date. He fills in for every other daddy-daughter event for her anyway. She contacted Jenna to ask if she knew that Olivia wanted to marry Matteo, and if she was comfortable with him taking her on a date. Jenna told her to go away, but my friend is still convinced that I'm wrong, and this is putting Olivia in a vulnerable position. Am I the idiot for not doing anything about her crush on her uncle? Not the idiot. This is so cute. What a great role model Matteo is. In a few years, though, Olivia will find this very embarrassing, which will also be very cute. Almost every little girl has a crush on someone or wants to marry them. Unhealthy suppression of emotions is what would be an inappropriate thing to do. I hope you all got a lot of pictures from the date. Frankly, Matteo showed brilliant sense to take her out on a date. People like your other friend would only stir the pot and spread appalling rumours had they been in the home together for a prolonged period. He is a father figure. Many young girls say they want to marry their fathers. It's a harmless thing and shows that she's a well-balanced kid. I might be in the minority though. You are the idiot. I would not be comfortable with an adult male paying that much attention to my pre-tween daughter. Spending money on her, doing all those things, me, personally, it would make me uncomfortable. I'm sure he's a great guy who just wants to do nice things for your daughter, but in my mind, there's always the chance of another motive. I'm sure it's going to come across as terrible, which isn't the intention, but it's what I think. I, 22 female, live with my boyfriend, 23 male, and another couple, both 22. We all moved in together simultaneously, and the woman in the couple was a high school friend. They already had a cat, and I decided to adopt a dog after settling in. I've struggled with depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and ADD, and I found that living with a dog helps. Plus, I plan to move abroad in a year and want a familiar companion. Before getting the dog, I asked my roommates how they felt, and they were fine with it since they already had a cat and their cat liked dogs. I adopted a mixed breed dog, and I've worked hard to potty train him, no accidents for 3 months. I also invested in professional training, and he's doing advanced obedience classes. The main issue is my dog has separation anxiety. When we're at work for 8 hours, he used to cry, bark, throw up, and even escape his crate. To help, I walked him in the mornings, did light training, and hired a dog walker. That became too expensive, so I started leaving him in my room with a chew toy. This reduced some behaviors, but my roommate still complained about his whining. I eventually sent him to a $2,000 board and train program. Since returning, he no longer cries, whines, or escapes his crate, and he's no longer destructive. However, he still barks once every 2 to 10 minutes for about 4 hours. I've been working with the trainer, but my roommates don't think the progress is enough. They've asked me to rehome him, saying it's unfair he's crated for 8 hours and that the barking is disruptive. My dog came from a shelter and I've done everything possible to give him a better life. He gets daily park visits, plenty of exercise, vet visits, etc. He comes on trips and hikes with me and socializes with my mom's dog. He's not perfect, but he's made progress and I don't think rehoming is the answer. I also feel entitled to keep him due to other roommate issues. I've spent over $1,100 on shared house items and they've never contributed or helped with chores. They clogged our shower drain and my boyfriend paid for the plumber. The woman sometimes flirts with my boyfriend or tries to villainize me, which is uncomfortable. When they mention dog issues, they say, "You need to take care of it." Even though I'm at work, it's usually at 7 a.m. When I mentioned contacting the trainer or rehoming, the woman immediately latched onto rehoming, offering to help him find a new home, which felt insensitive. I've been quiet about these frustrations because they've been patient while my dog's in training, but I feel like I deserve to keep him after everything I've handled. Rehoming is not the right solution. Am I the idiot for refusing to rehome my dog even though my roommates want him gone? You are the idiot. Your dog is legitimately disruptive. They're not complaining about nothing. They're complaining about actual nuisance behavior. Not only that, their request is ultimately compassionate. Your efforts show that you've tried everything, but this is not a happy dog. This is a dog who is suffering, and rehoming him to a situation where he will not have to be alone for pre-tween hours all day is better for him too. You crate your dog for 8 hours. You don't have time for a dog. That's just mean. If you want to keep the dog, it's time to move out with your boyfriend and get your place. Good luck finding a place without neighbours who will complain about a dog barking every 2 to 10 minutes for 4 hours. That is a lot. Also, what do you plan to do next year? Take the dog abroad with you? Rehome, rehome, rehome. You are the idiot. This situation is shameful, and maintaining it is on you, no matter how hard you've tried. I, 29 male, often let my partner, 27 non-binary, sleep in. I tiptoe around, staying quiet so they can rest. They can sleep until 2 p.m. if allowed, but I usually wake them by 11 a.m. since we have things to do. Recently, I've taken on more work, going from running my own business with a few weekly Zoom calls to adding a new job where I work 59 hours over 10 days. It's exhausting, and I'm currently battling what I think is the flu. My partner knows I'm not well. I'm also a full-time online student working on assignments in my spare time. My partner hasn't worked for about 10 months. I've noticed a pattern of my partner being noisy when I'm trying to sleep, and they get defensive when I mention it. For example, I had a midnight to pre-tween AM shift, so I told them I needed rest. I took melatonin, set an alarm, and napped. Less than an hour later, I woke up to them eating popcorn loudly in bed, the sound and smell waking me. Another time, while trying to rest before a shift, they were using a bug zapper on the bed, making it shake. These incidents, among others, have been frustrating. That brings me to this morning. I recently worked a double shift and came down with a bad cough. I didn't sleep well yesterday since we had to go to the pharmacy for cough suppressants. Last night my partner snapped at me and then stormed out. They messaged me saying they were overtired and needed sleep, but I could stay up. I went outside to cool down my fever, then returned quietly. We have a litter of rescue puppies, and yesterday we introduced them to puppy mush, which involves grinding kibble to prevent choking. This morning, I woke up at 7:30 a.m. to the loud sound of the grinder. I went to see what was happening, and my partner was making the mush. I was annoyed because usually we don't feed the dogs before 9 a.m. I stepped outside and then came back in. I hadn't planned to say anything, but my partner apologized, saying, "Sorry for waking you up with the grinder." I replied, "I just don't understand why it had to be done at 7:30 a.m. They said, "Because the puppies needed food." This frustrated me because I handle most of the dog responsibilities and they rarely help. I mentioned that feeding the puppies didn't have to happen so early, and they explained that the mama dog had spilled kibble and they worried about the puppies choking. I suggested cleaning up the spill instead and mentioned that it felt like they were intentionally waking me. They rolled their eyes and said, "Whatever," and I walked away, heading back to the bedroom to type this out. I feel like I'm making an effort to give them space to rest, but I don't get the same in return. Even setting work and school aside, I'm sick, which they know means I need extra sleep to recover. Am I the idiot? Your partner ate popcorn in bed, used a bug zapper in bed, and ran the puppy food grinder at 7:30 when you usually feed the dogs at 9 a.m. Wow, and you're financially and emotionally supporting them? What are they bringing to this relationship? Because they're going pretty far out of the way to prevent you from sleeping. Not the idiot. Your partner sounds very inconsiderate. This may be an unpopular opinion, but I say take the trash out, and this is why. People so often in relationships accept rude and disrespectful behavior. Even the small microaggressions of being loud when you're trying to sleep directly reflect how considerate a person is. Now, obviously, I don't know your partner or relationship, but I've seen several times where someone continues a relationship and the rude behavior not only continues but gets worse. I think it begins to wear on the other partner and often doesn't improve and leaves the other partner tolerating something they shouldn't. My sister is a young teen and I'm a teen. My sister's always had issues. She gets bullied in school a lot and has trouble keeping friends. It started when she was a pre-tween and the one girl who always targeted her was bullying another kid. My sister was next to her in class and didn't lie to the teacher when asked if this girl was being mean. After that, the girl focused just on my sister. This girl has a reputation for being really mean, but she's also pretty popular too. I think after being bullied for so long, it's made her take it out on others. She does it to me, so I think that doesn't help her keep friends. I tried being a supportive sister. I tried to help her socially and to be someone she could talk to, but she expects a lot out of me and gets angry when I can't give it. For example, when she wanted me to spend less time with friends and spend time with her doing stuff she wanted to do, I always spent time with her, but she reached a point where I was basically meant to hang out with her if she had nobody else to spend time with and never see my friends. Other times she would call me ugly and ask why I was never bullied at school, but she gets bullied every year no matter what she does. Then she'd go and lie to our parents to get me into trouble so I'd be punished. Lies like saying I yelled at her because she wanted to talk to me, to say I walked home from school without her. We walked together. The walking home from school lie got me punished twice already. So I started putting distance between us because I'm done being a supportive sister if she's going to treat me that way, and our parents are extra sensitive with her because of the bullying, so they won't do anything that might upset her more, like getting her to stop her crap. This all built into a fight with my sister 3 weeks ago. She wanted to talk to me because she had a crappy day, and I told her to go away and find someone else to listen. She told me I had to listen, and I said no. She said I'm her sister and she needs me. I told her I didn't care and I wasn't there to be her emotional punching bag. She started crying and saying I was supposed to love her no matter what. Again, my reply was that I didn't care. I told her she got my sympathy until she started treating me like crap when I was trying to help her. I told her she wanted to see me grounded, to call me names and take her problems out on me, and then she could forget about me supporting her. I told her I was so tired of being her sister that I didn't care about her anymore. She ended up running away after that. I had to tell our parents what happened when they realized she was gone. It took us 3 days to find her. When she was found, my parents expected me to apologize, but I didn't and they're still mad. I told them I didn't regret saying it and she might be fragile, but I'm not here to take her crap. They told me I should be more understanding and kind and I should feel guilty for making her run away. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You tried to be supportive, but that should never come at the cost of your mental health. She insulted you, lied, and pushed you away from your friends. And as a result, you finally snapped. You never made your sister run away. That was entirely her choice. She should not expect you to apologize for the consequences of her own actions. Hun, you didn't make her run away. She chose to do that for the simple solution of giving her more attention to your parents, trying to get you in trouble, and forcing you to be with her permanently. Your parents should stop worrying about whether or not you're the sister's personal pet and worry about getting her into therapy. I constantly be telling the parents that sis needs therapy. Your mom wants you to do something. Reply with, I hope it's getting sis therapy. Your dad asks you to be with sis. Reply with, I hope it's taking sis to therapy. Whatever they say, just reply that you're hoping they're taking her to therapy, or some version of therapy. This way you can slowly get them to start thinking that your sis needs therapy now before it's too late. And maybe she needs to move schools, but none of this is on you. It's on the adults.